Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Alex, and for all of you Cinema Lovers Incorporated fans that have made the transition back to Spoonful for You, good to see you guys. But all of those watching on Spoonful for You right now, you guys may be confused. Well, Cinema Lovers Incorporated just wasn't working out for me and the fans over there on that channel. We were not getting monetized, we were not getting paid advertisements, and the fans were feeling a bit crummy. Just not a lot of support over there. So the fans and I have made the transition back to Spoonful for You, and we are doing movie reviews, television reviews, everything to do with cinema will now be once again on Spoonful for You. And to kick off this amazing transition, today we will be talking about the one and only Order of the Phoenix. Now, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix is a very odd film. It's the first movie directed by David Yates, and personally, I'm not a fan of David Yates whatsoever. His directing style is more about style over substance. And the movie feels cheaper for some reason compared to the first four that we got before. If you compare it to the first film, CGI-wise, yeah, it's better CGI. But I'm talking about like when the film came out. This film came out in 2007. Sorcerer's Stone came out in 2001. If you compare that to a 2001 film, the CGI is pretty bad in this movie because Part 4, Goblet of Fire, came out 2 years prior, and in my opinion has way better CGI, and I think Goblet of Fire has some of the best computer-generated imagery out of the entire franchise. And it's really a shame that this film goes backwards with its CGI effects. Those creatures that are invisible in this movie look awful, including Groppy, especially the centaurs, just look very fakey in my opinion. I haven't seen this movie lately, but those who have, am I flipping or am I telling the truth here? The film is basically about Harry dealing with depression. It's a very dark film that's just very dreary and emo. It's for the emo at heart. And there's not a lot of fun in this movie. There's a lot of hitting and violence, and Professor Umbridge is just attacking people. And it's just not a very fun movie. And I've personally never read the book. I've read a couple pages, but please tell me in the book if there's more stuff in there that is more lighthearted, and more adventurous, because this movie isn't doing it for me. I mean, there's a lot of just moping around in this movie. One of my favorite parts of the film, however, is Voldemort, played again by Ralph Fiennes. He is fantastic, and Voldemort's look in this film is my favorite out of the entire franchise. His color is more chalk white compared to his gray, veiny look in the other films. I don't know why, and he has a tie on. It just looks really cool. I love characters with ties. It just makes them look awesome. And he wears shoes as well. He doesn't have this like cape, that drops over. It's a full-on tie in some of the scenes, and then later on in the movie, he just has this chalk white look to him. It's kind of almost a blue reflective look, which is very odd. But again, Voldemort is my favorite look of the film. Personally, ladies and gentlemen, I also think the performances are very good. The woman who plays Professor Umbridge, all fantastic. All the performances are really, really good and well done. My problem, however, is that the movie is just cheaper compared to the others. It feels less like a Harry Potter film and more like a teen movie. One of those teen movies that, made for television, TV book movies, basically. And I don't like these films because they are very cringy and they're all the same. The teens are all rallying up to fight the bad guys, and there's occasional romance in the movies. And I feel like this is really when Harry Potter started taking a nosedive. Instead of being this awesome magical action adventure for lots of people, this film is more catered to the teen people that love those books. And yeah, this is based off of a book, but it's more of a magical book where anyone could read. I never saw Harry Potter as a teen novel. Some people even say it was a children's novel, but I don't even think that's the case either. I think the Harry Potter books are for all ages. You can pick them up whatever age you are. So it's really odd that Part 5 is a teen movie, essentially, and it's just trying to be like all the other movies back then. And then we get more horrendous films like Divergent and Maze Runner, which just, they don't do it for me, man. They do not do it for me. Another problem I have with this movie is the music is not as good as the first four. Now, don't get me wrong, the music is good in this movie, but there's something cheaper about it. And personally, it's not the composer. I think it's just the way the music sounds with what's going on screen, because if you listen to the music on its own, it's pretty freaking awesome. You know, it's no John Williams, but it's really good. But there's just something about it that doesn't really fit with Harry Potter. Like, if you watch this movie on its own, if you're a fan of this film and then part 6 and aren't the biggest Harry Potter film fan, then the music is fine. You know, it's good music. But watching the first 3 films and then the fourth film didn't have the best music, but first 3 films and the fourth film, and then watching this one, you can tell it's completely different. It's more fantasy sounding. It's not orchestral like the first 4. You know, now it's like this like magical, just up-spirited music that followed to Harry Potter 6, unfortunately. Another problem with this movie is a lot of the characters don't act like themselves. Some of them, like Hagrid, for example. Hagrid was one of my favorite characters in part 1 through 4. In this movie, he's barely recognizable. He's stupid. Yeah, he's stupid in the other ones, but he is a tough man in the other 4 films that can hold his own, and he has a mind. In this movie, he just seems like he's just there, kind of drunkenly stumbling around. Unfortunately, and his performance gets worse in part 6, 7, and 8, and you can't even recognize him anymore. But we will get to that eventually one day. But this film, Hagrid, there's something up about him. It's definitely the director. And Robbie Cawthron, I love you, man, but your performance sucks in this movie. What else do I not like about this film? Well, I just all of a sudden, I mean, you know what I mean. I don't like the mopiness around. I don't like the Dumbledore's army idea. And Malfoy is, again, this typical bully who has been the same character since part 3, basically 3, 4, and 5. He is the same character. Gone are the days where Malfoy is interesting, who has a dynamic, you know, character about him. Now he's just this typical bully that wants to beat up the characters, and he's really bad in this film. This is probably Malfoy's worst film ever in the franchise. Thankfully, no matter how much I hate part 6, Malfoy is done really well in that movie, personally, in my opinion. But in this film, oh my god, this is his worst. See Malfoy at his best in part 2 and part 6. This is his worst, in my personal opinion. The big final battle scenes, I think, are really well done. I really enjoy it. I think it's fun, energetic, and very interesting. Bellatrix as well. She becomes a little bit more annoying as the franchise goes on, but in this movie, she's very, very well done. Helen Bonham Carter is a fantastic actress. But when this movie falls for me, it has to do with the plot, the dull mopiness. The music isn't as fantastic as before, and I feel like this movie is just a bore to watch. There's nothing fantastic about it. It's very drabby. It's very dull. You see a character, Harry, just moping around. In the first, part 3, he is depressed in that film as well throughout the whole movie, but he has some really fun moments, and you still care about the character, Daniel Radcliffe, in that movie. And Daniel Radcliffe does a great performance in this movie. Do not get me wrong. He is awesome, and he's probably at his best in this movie. I just feel like they should have had a little bit more with him. He's just this emo guy that's always having and you know, for Harry Potter, you're supposed to have this magical feeling along with action and, you know, drama and stuff. I mean, even part 7 had some great moments with Harry and Ron, and it just lifts our spirits. But in this movie, there's not a lot of that, unfortunately. And I feel like Order of the Phoenix sucks. It's one of the worst Harry Potter films ever made. The music is not as good. The effects are awful compared to the first 4 for some reason. A lot of the characters are fun, but it feels like just a side adventure that doesn't need to be there, unfortunately. It's one of those teen movies. It feels like a teen film, strictly for the teen audience. It does not feel like it's for all ages, unfortunately. And that's really where it turns me off. I love Voldemort's look in this movie, and Voldemort is fantastic. I do not like the confusing plot throughout the film, especially when Snape does that stupid thing on Harry's mind. I haven't seen this movie, like I said, I haven't seen it in a long time, so maybe it will make more sense if I see it again. But when I saw it last, it was a confusing movie. What do you think of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix? Let me know down below in the comment section. It is good to be back on Spoonful for You doing movie reviews. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye, everyone! Thanks for watching, guys. And don't forget to leave a like on the video.